Flashkey, Adonde, Blackstone, and in Plasma 1, rocking what type of shirt is that, Mina Kimes?
Yes, it's an ode to what could have and should have been and what can still be if Adam Silver and the NBA do the right thing and bring basketball back to Seattle.
All right, we'll get to that later in the show. Also, whether Cam Newton needs to change.
Welcome to the new world of sport, baby. This is action-packed. This is sport.
And the long drive takeover. Let's go around the horn.
It's Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter.
I love that guy.
Here's Tony Reale.
Check out Cam Newton. He came into camp 246 pounds, which is about 15 pounds lighter than he's been playing recently. Fitter, happier, more productive is the hope in this Panthers' new offense this season, which is going to be fitter and faster and get the ball out of Cam's hands more. Here's the Jonathan Jones piece in SI, the reprogramming of Cam Newton. Jones posits that the change at this point in a career, mid-career, is a drastic thing, and asks the question, can Cam change? Bill, do you think Cam can change?
Well, I think there's no question he has to change. He's been hit more than any quarterback. He's gained more rushing yards than any quarterback in the last 6 years, but only 8 more quarterbacks have been sacked more during that time in the 6-year period. He gets his butt kicked all the time. Can he change? That's the question. It's not really who he is. He's not a guy he needs to now to do the underneath throws. Doesn't do a lot of that. Make quick decisions. Hasn't done a lot of that. This doesn't really play to his strengths. And you look back at when the Steelers did this with Ben Roethlisberger, it took them about 3 years to get it all figured out when they transformed him and put him back in the pocket. This could take some time. It's going to be very difficult. I think he can. It's going to be really difficult.
Mina Kimes, same question to you.
I disagree. I think he can and he will. I was thrilled when the Panthers drafted Christian McCaffrey because it signaled a change in offensive philosophy. Cam Newton took a step back last year, yes, but also their offensive line struggled, their wide receivers struggled, and most importantly, they kept relying on these slow, developing, deep passes. That is going to change with McCaffrey. We're finally going to see screens and sweeps, and I believe Cam Newton is capable of exercising and executing that offense. He just hasn't been given the opportunity until now.
J.A., same question. Should he change? Can he change? Will he change?
It's not a good idea to ask him to change. It reminds me of when Washington tried to get RG3 to get rid of the ball quicker, get it out of his hands quicker. That didn't work out very well, did it? And in this case, yes, Cam Newton is better than Robert Griffin III, but that means he should have the ball in his hands more, right? Your best weapon should have the ball. You shouldn't be in such a rush for him to get rid of it. You're actually helping out the defense because he's no longer a threat once he gets rid of the ball. The answer is to ask less of him by asking more of the running backs. In 3 of the last 4 seasons, the Carolina Panthers did not have a running back in the top 10 in rushing yards for the season. The one year they did, they went to the Super Bowl. Just a thought.
Kevin Blackstone, your opinion and your view of the reprogramming of Cam Newton.
I think it's a laser focus that is unnecessary. It's not just Cam Newton. It's the entire Mike Shula offensive scheme and that offensive line. Fortunately for Cam Newton, the most important thing that happened in the offseason was they went out and drafted Taylor Moton out of Western Michigan to protect one edge, and they went out and got Matt Khalil, a former Pro Bowler with the Minnesota Vikings, to protect the other side of the edge. So that should give him the protection in the pocket that he needs and not force him to have to do what he's not good at, which is scrambling. Most of those runs that he made when they were going to the Super Bowl were designed runs.
That's
you don't want him
so
scrambling.
Cam Newton, you don't want Cam Newton scrambling. He's not good at scrambling, I think is how you phrased it initially.
Right, exactly. He's a good runner. But
they're going to get away from the deep ball, apparently, and they're going to go to an offense that's more balanced and the screens that Mina Kimes was suggesting. Is that the right move, Kevin Blackstone?
Yeah, I mean, you need more of a balanced offense, and exactly what Jay was alluding to, you need more help from other people. And as Mina pointed out, of course, the addition of McCaffrey should make that a lot better going forward.
Plashke.
Well, doing what he did, he was the best player in the league. Let's don't forget this. I don't think you can change, so I don't think you can change this that dramatically. There's got to be a way that maybe he can maybe not run as much, maybe go down earlier, maybe, get like Jay said, get a better running game. I just think totally reprogramming is going to be very difficult.
So you think this is an overreaction to one
I think it might be,
subpar season? Mina, how do you respond to that?
You guys are talking about how he's a great runner, he has a great deep ball. Those things will be more effective if defenses don't know that he's going to do it on every play. If there's the optionality of screens, it makes it more diverse and a more effective offense.
And Adonde?
If you're asking Cam Newton to be more of a passer, guess what? That was Denver's successful defensive strategy. Turn him into a passer. That's how they blew them out in the Super Bowl. Why would you play into the defense's hands?
Pretty good point, Adonde. We'll move on. College now. A follow-up to the Ole Miss as the NCAA case against them heats up. What happens to the players? Dan Wetzel, Yahoo. Ole Miss needs to do right by its players and give them the option to leave restriction-free. Specifically, spotlight on Shea Patterson, the study sophomore quarterback. He was asked whether he would transfer at media availability yesterday. He says he loves his university, he loves his teammates. KB, what do you think of Patterson specifically and the rest of the team, and whether they should stick with the program through this thin of thick and thin?
Well, first of all, they shouldn't be left with this sort of a choice. It wasn't them who made the phone calls that Hugh Freeze did. It was Hugh Freeze. So he's the one who should suffer the consequences here. After that, you know what? It's really up to them. I think if you're really, you can just stay there. I mean, the fact of the matter is their season is not being shut down. They're still going to play football games. Will they be able to go to a postseason game? Maybe not. But you know what? Everybody's going to have film on them. They still want to get to the NFL. They'll still be able to be seen by all the scouts and all those kind of folks. So it's really on them. I think if you're an older player, maybe you just want to stay rather than transfer. If you're a younger player, maybe look around.
Okay, so you're not really outraged about this. You talk about the NFL. I mean, admittedly, that's 5 of 100 players who want to get on the
I'm just saying if that's your
them.
goal.
Donde, you want to answer the question?
Well, for most of these guys, the college experience is the extent of their football playing days, and they should be able to do so wherever and however it best seem fit. They might want to fall in the path of, let's say, the Penn State players that stuck around after the Paterno and Sandusky scandal, and they were rewarded. They even had the opportunity to wear their jerseys on the name of their back, which the Lions don't usually get to do. But that's putting the glory of the school ahead of your individual thoughts and needs, and you only have 4 years to get this done. I would say college is a time to be selfish. They should be selfish. The interesting point in Dan Wetzel's column you made is that they fired Hugh Freeze over moral issues. Then Ole Miss is morally obligated to let these guys go and do what they want. What's best
I like
for them.
hearing a professor at Northwestern say college is a time to be selfish. I hope you say that to your students.
Absolutely.
Self-imposed ban on the bowl this year. I think Clackerson alluded to that. Didn't say it specifically. Plaschke, what should the students be allowed to do?
Well, Jay is exactly right. That's the first word I thought of was be selfish. The school shows no loyalty. You owe them nothing. Right now, think of yourself. Think of where you'll be. How can you best either get your degree, go to the NFL, what's your goals? And this quarterback, I think probably, having gone through spring practice, he's probably in a better position to show himself better for the next level if he stays where he's at. Because if he leaves and loses another year perhaps, or he has to get ingrained in a new system, I think you stay put if you think this can work for you. But overall, the kids need to do what's best for them, not for the school, not for the glory of Ole Miss or any of that stuff.
Mina Kimes.
I think if Ole Miss does the right thing and they give them the option to leave and they actually, rebuild their culture in the right way, they'll be rewarded because I think a lot of them will stay. These are college students. They actually have a lot more inertia than people realize. They want to stay on campus. And then, as you mentioned, the very few who do believe that they're going to go to the NFL, well, what we've seen is they don't really want to play in bowl games anyways these days. They're afraid of getting injured. So I don't think that'll factor into many of these players'
That's a good
decisions.
point. College students have more inertia than people realize. People may not realize they have inertia at all. So that's an interesting point from Mina Kimes. All right. We'll stick in college, though, because we had a recruit choose Princeton football over UW, Washington, Tennessee, Arizona State, Utah, Oregon State, Fresno, and Colorado State. His name is Brevin White. He's a 4-star pro offense QB, the number 193rd ranked player in the class of 2018, according to ESPN. And he's going to the Ivies. Mina, what do you think of that?
I like it, and I hope he goes to the NFL so that we won't be reminded every 5 seconds that Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard. Well, and you, Ivy League quarterback, to obsess over. But in general, I'm in favor of high school students making decisions based on a holistic approach to their future, and he could still go to the league. 30 players have actually been drafted from Princeton, including, most notably, the first kicker ever drafted in the first round.
Okay, now you're dropping a little bit too much information from an Ivy League person. The inertia was too much for Kimes. Plaschke, how about you?
I believe that kicker was Charlie Gogolak. Is that correct? Do I get points for that? And yeah, thank you very much. Anyway,
okay, I didn't know we were going there. There we go.
We are going there. There's also 24. There's 24 Ivy Leaguers right now in the NFL training camps this fall. So you can get to the league that way. Plus, you're using the system to your best advantage to get the best education you can. You're putting that on a par or ahead of your football career. Brilliant move by a Southern California kid, nonetheless.
Donde.
Is it that smart, though, to go somewhere where you do not get full athletic scholarships as they do not give in the Ivy League? So financially it might be might not be the best decision right away. Yes, if academics matter, Princeton ranked #1 in the latest U.S. News and World Report college rankings, but it's not as if high academic standards and high athletic competition are mutually exclusive. You know, he could have gone to a Stanford or Duke or Northwestern if he wanted to go to a big school, big athletic school, and be in a big conference as well. So I applaud him for this, but he didn't have to forsake the athletic competition.
And Charlie Gogolak kicked for Washington. His brother Pete Gogolak kicked for the New York Football Giants, since you brought him up. Look, I have a little talk that I give to would-be college athletes and their parents, and I always tell them to make their choice not based on their sport, but based on what they want to do in the bulk of their life. And this is what this kid may actually have done here. And that's a good thing. And by the way, it's not like Princeton is chopped liver just because they're in the Ivy League. Princeton has a proud tradition of football and basketball up there. They have a great athletic department. They've done well by a lot of people, like a friend of mine, Chris Young, who you may remember, pitched, may still be pitching in the major leagues. He was a two-sport star, played baseball and basketball at Princeton.
He's a friend of yours, but you're not sure he's still pitching in the major league. not that good of a friend, KB.
Okay. All right. This show went over great at the Gogolak family reunion, by the way. I'd like to thank 3 panelists with a lot of information on the Gogolak. All right, I think we're taking a break here. Our inertia has us going to commercial. Buy yourselves next.
What are all these different...
Adam Silver told Trailblazers C.J. McCollum, Scoop McCollum for the Players Tribune, that expansion is inevitable. He name-dropped Seattle as a destination. After a season that left everybody thinking there's about 2 or 3 good teams, I want to ask about expanding, but also, Mina, here's your opportunity. Should expansion be the way you get your team back in Seattle?
I actually prefer expansion to a move because it means another city isn't getting blackmailed into giving up millions. And I don't think, like Adam Silver, I agree that talent dilution would not be a huge issue. The problem with the NBA isn't that there are a ton of terrible teams. It's that talent is concentrated on 2 teams. I don't see how adding 1 or 2 teams dramatically changes that calculus in the long term. Plus, it would give the league an excuse to realign the conferences, which is the biggest issue with the NBA right now, not talent dilution.
And to bring back the Supersonics and those great jerseys and color scheme they had. Bill Plaschke, how about you?
No, I'm sorry, man. We do not need expansion. We have too many dreary Tuesday night games in Fairbury that nobody cares about anyway. No, we don't need. However, Seattle does need a team. It deserves a team. And there's one here that I've said for several years. The owner of the Clippers lives in Seattle. Steve Ballmer is from Seattle. He'd be a returning hero. I'm not saying the Clippers should leave town right now, but that would be a candidate.
It sounds like you're saying the Clippers should leave town right now. That's
no,
what it
I'm
sounds
not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Your viewers at home right now, your readers at the LA Times.
I'm just saying it would fit. It would fit. It would fit the Seattle.
That's what you want to do with your life, Plaschke. Don, how about you?
It would have made a lot of sense, and expansion does not make sense. The league does not need to be more watered down, and if you expand 1, you got to expand 2. That's the biggest concern Adam Silver has had, is that you don't want to get to an odd number of teams right now for scheduling purposes. So if you want to move a team, there's one for sale in Houston right now, just saying.
So now you want the Rockets, who are going to contend.
They're for sale.
Man, Plaschke and Adonde, you're just getting rid of Flackstone. How about you?
I'm fine with expansion for the very reason Mina said. You don't want to leave taxpayers in another city on the hook. But the other reason is, so many more people are invested in basketball now, whether it's in college or at another level, and this would just be more jobs and more power for the Players Union to have more members within its union. So good for
You're over for more jobs.
All about jobs.
Buy or sell too. Todd Frazier's first at bat at home with the Yankees. The score was 0-0 when he came up, and it was 1-0 when he was done. But in the meantime, a 6-3, 5-6 triple play. Just the second time in baseball history there's been a shortstop, first baseman, third baseman, shortstop triple play. It's a mouthful to say. Bill, what was the most interesting part of the play?
A run scored. It was a productive at-bat, and he hit into a triple play, and a run scored. That is amazing to me. He was back in the dugout, having hit into 3 outs, and his teammates were probably high-fiving him. Good ground ball. You scored a run. He didn't get the RBI, but a run scored.
Adonde?
Bill not only did a run score, but you had 3 outs in the span of about 15 seconds, so it helped increase the pace of play. This is baseball's issue. One of the things you're dealing with, right? They want to speed up the game. If you can get more runs with an inning's worth of out in one swing of the bat, that's just fantastic. He should get bonus points for that. Create a new stat for that.
Well, and the triple play did not come back to haunt that team. That put them on the board 1-0. They won the game 4-2. So good for him. He contributed to a W for his teammates.
What's incredible to me is baseball is supposed to be this staid, traditional, predictable sport, and I feel like there's always things I've never seen before. I had never heard of this even being an option, and I was amazing that Todd Frazier got to be a part of history and that he didn't take the blame for it because it was clearly his teammate Didi Gregorius' fault on the base paths.
We'll move on. Buy or sell 3, Novak Djokovic taking the rest of 2017 off. He says he's hit the limit of his body. He's had an elbow injury for about the last year and a half. That's why he left Wimbledon early. Buy or sell this from Djokovic, and buy or sell this for tennis, Jay?
I'll buy him if it's for him, if it's what he needs and his body just can't give anymore. But for tennis, you have to sell. Now, the prospect of U.S. Open without Djokovic, without Serena Williams, start spreading the news. I don't know.
Flagstone.
I'll absolutely buy it for Djokovic. And you know what? It's a little trend maybe started by Roger Federer, who took that 6 months off and then said after he won the other day, maybe he'll take another 6 months off. Health is so important. Good for Djokovic.
I'm buying it, and in addition to Federer, I think there's a precedent with Andre Agassi, who he's brought on as his coach. He mentioned that he's helping him seek treatment and will help him when he comes back. Agassi himself famously took a hiatus from the game in '97 when he was struggling and came back stronger than ever. So hopefully Djokovic could also have a similar reboot.
Flash.
I'm buying it. On the exact same day last year, the exact same day Roger Federer announced he was going to miss the rest of the season. And look how that worked out. Exact July 26th, a great day for tennis players to say they'll miss the rest of the season. It'll work out.
Great day for tennis players. Great day for tennis.
I'll appeal to the panel for a ruling here. Plashke seemed very impressed with himself. That it was the exact same day. He delivered the line twice.
That's huge.
Is that huge? Is this officially the day that tennis players should be...
Points for
It happened last year. July 26th. Happened last year.
I don't know.
I'd get more points for that.
I think it's an interesting piece of information, but worth the 3 points. Plashke, not enough to get through. Blackstone also. It's a kind of Donde showdown.
This is a payday ball.
Mina Kimes, Jay Adonde showdown.
Welcome to the new world of sport, baby. This is action-packed.
Maurice Allen is his name. He won the Mile High Showdown, long-distance driving. He hit at 436 in the final, nearly 500 in the quarters. Troy Mullins won the women's at 398. Allen's energy, his wave goodbye at the ball right there. Long driving game got a future, Mina, for you?
Yeah, I think this helps insofar as I now know it exists, and we are talking about it on this program. I loved it. The only way it could have been better, in my opinion, is if he had flipped the golf club, like a bat flip afterwards.
Exactly. We've seen the Ric Flair rants before. We've seen the loud pants on John Daly. But, yes, here's a chance to flip the club with no showing anybody up, without fear of somebody throwing you a high inside fastball as a way of trying to get back at you. That's what could take this to the next level. We're not getting enough bat flips in baseball. How about seeing some in golf?
Were you surprised to find out that there's a dress code? They have to wear a collared shirt to do the long drive? And in the finals, there was 8 swings per competitor, and 15 of them went out of bounds. And that one drive was the only one that won it for Allen.
Yeah, literally a football field's width. And you can't play.
And we'll move on. Showdown 2, Zach Borenstein going full Canseco. And you never want to go full Canseco. I think we can all agree. This is a home run. How do you rule, Jay Adonde?
It should be a home run. It should be a bonus home run. His head should get credit because this wasn't like Canseco. This ball bounced off his head over the track, over the wall to the far end of the bullpen. That's remarkable.
Yeah, I think it should be like Mario. If you bounce off a guy's head, you should get to get extra points. But I have a question. What is in his noggin? That thing got like 25 feet. Is it made of rubber? I mean, seriously.
I don't think we can even figure out how much this must have hurt. Because, I mean, the ball is so hard to begin with. I mean, I know it's a fun thing to watch and to laugh at, but that's gotta really hurt.
Painful.
We're 2-2 going into Showdown 3. This is going to decide the game, and it's very, very important. Let's go. Cowboys defensive end David Irving tweeting he lost his nipple ring during practice. Julio Jones lost a $150,000 earring while jet skiing in a lake. Mina, who do you feel worse for?
I feel worse for Julio because something tells me he'd probably jet skied almost all the way around the lake and perhaps lost at the last second. Poor guy.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
Julio is the bigger loser here because not only did he make a bad decision, but it's bad financial advice. You don't spend that much on an earring, and then you don't throw more good money after bad by hiring a diving team to search for that $150,000 earring at the bottom of a lake when you know you've got no chance of retrieving it. So one bad decision after another for Julio.
Nina Kimes is cold-blooded, and now we can go back for all time and listen to her laugh. The way she laughs, I mean, it kind of sounds like Eddie Murphy. It's getting you the win, second in a row.
Whoa! Oh, man. So my worldview, like many other people's, was completely rocked today when I received the news that America's greatest human being, Katie Ledecky, lost. She lost in the 200-meter to Federica Pellegrini, who deserves great credit for what happened. But I don't think that should be the headline. The headline should be that Katie Ledecky had never lost. She had won 14 straight finals in international competition. She is incredible, and let's focus on that when we talk about what happened today.
Probably someone was in the
You know,
shower
Kevin
there.
Blackstone, I
I'm
wasn't
the
going to
Katie
say
Ledecky
it,
of
but
the
you
show.
got to give it to us. Tell us your Katie Ledecky story.
Oh, I was working out at the gym one time, and there was this woman up there working out with a trainer I know, Lee, and they had an exercise ball, and I thought that they were done with it, so I went over and I asked her, can I grab it? I took it away, and it wasn't until later on when Lee came up to her and told me, you know, that was Katie Ledecky. You got the
You stole
Lee's still a
Katie
trainer?
Ledecky's ball, and that's why she lost.
Is Lee
We'll
still
see
a
you
trainer?
tomorrow.
You sure?